Hello, and welcome back to another video on Cosmic Joe. I'm so glad to see you guys. So, today I'll be talking about a really cool concept, and it is living your life like water. So I learned this from a video that's about this guy called Lao Tzu, I believe is his name. And I don't know much about him, but he talks about a lot of ways, and I believe it's Taoism, which is just like a way of just kind of going with the flow of life, and just not worrying about too many things, and just seeing the kind of life it creates for you. But today I'm going to specifically be talking about living your life like water, which is such a cool concept because, let's just think about it. What does it mean to live life like water? First you gotta think about like how water works. So water flows, like it'll go into rivers, it will naturally go from a river to an ocean. There's not like much preparation for it to do that. If it gets hot, it'll turn the steam, evaporate, turn into clouds. Then when the clouds get too heavy, it just rains. If water gets too cold, it'll freeze. You put it into a container, it'll just sit there, it's just chilling. It's just so adaptable, which is, I think, the best way that humans can live their life. Adaptable and yielding. You want to have, in the video I was explaining, you want to be softer when you go out through the world, not hard and rigid. Because things that get hard and rigid can easily be taken down because it's so like stiff. When you're so stiff, it's easy for something to just like push you and just like knock the whole foundation down. But if you're just flowing, like one of those crazy arm guys, like it would be really hard to like take that guy down, which is like super awesome. So I guess I'm going to go more into what it means to live life like water. So I already explained being adaptable, but what that looks like is in real life situations. So if something is stressing you out, or if there's something's out of your control, rather than just being like really upset and being like, oh my gosh, like I just wish I could fix this thing, like, but I can't, like there's no way. If you live like water, you're just gonna be like, okay, I'm noticing that I'm trying to move this thing and it's having a lot of pushback, so I'm just going to follow where it's taking me and go this way and try this route and see what's gonna happen. It's just living life without trying to control every little thing. A lot of people, and how the world is kind of conditioned, is that you have to move faster, you have to keep working really hard, you have to keep doing all these things, stay in constant movement to get through. But water doesn't stay in constant movement, it also changes. And how some people live, they'll think, you stay 50 years at this place, then when you're 40 or when you're 50, then you're gonna have the greatest life ever, but you just have to struggle for 40 years, like we're gonna overwork you for 40 years. We're gonna, wear you down for 40 years, and then you'll retire, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore, and you'll be chilling. But not everyone wants to do that, Like I personally don't want to, I guess like waste 40 years of my life just so I can have fun for, like 10 to 20 years, like I want to have fun now at 21. I don't know. I just think when you go with the flow more than just being like, I'm stirring in this, there will be a lot more avenues for you to grow as a person and for other people to respect you. I think in like just history, there's a lot of examples of people in power who are unchanging. Like, I will never change my opinion. I will stay stern and rigid, and no one can correct me. When that happens, or when you have like that person who is like in a position of power, and then another person in a position of power who has an like opposing view, and they're both rigid, when they clash, it's almost going to end like dangerously or violently, because they refuse to listen to another opinion. But if people in power took more water, like a more like water approach to it, then they'll be like, okay, these are my opinions. I am strong on these opinions, but I would love to hear, you know, where you're coming from. Maybe I'll change my mind on the matter because of what you said. Maybe you won't convince me, and we can find like a middle ground here. But the person who's just like really stern isn't ever going to even get that far to even think, oh, let me see what this person is thinking, you know? When you live your life like water, I think it makes you way more compassionate. People who are really rigid, they are almost in their own bubble. Like, they don't really care about anyone else. It's just like, I have this goal that I need to get to, and that's where I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna stop till I get there. And that's not like a bad thing to have, but when you start to try to control every avenue of how you get there, one, it's going to be really stressful. You're going to be mean to people because you're stressed and you're not happy. And just, you know, it's just not going to be an overall good experience for anyone, like yourself and the people around you. So yeah, I have some notes. I'm just going to see what I wrote. Yeah, so here's one of the big things I wanted to talk about. A lot of people try to avoid change. And then what happens, because they're becoming, you know, like brittle, and they're becoming like kind of stiff, when change happens, it completely takes them out. Like I explained, like you know, like I'm just tilting, but if I'm like flowing, like this could be harder for you to knock me down. So if someone can understand the fact that change is going to happen no matter what, it's a lot easier for them to adapt to it and, you know, like still be themselves and, you know, do what they are supposed to do in the new situation or environment. Or they can just be really like stiff about it and not change, and then they'll end up miserable, or, you know, they'll just end up in a really bad place and be wondering why, you know. So yeah, I think living your life like water is so important. I think it's important for the world, honestly. I think like it's a good way for the world to become a lot better, because if everyone is adapting together and flowing together and not trying to push against the stream and go against things that, you know, that they're meant to do. Like if I'm going against this, if I'm going against trying to help people, then I'm gonna be miserable because I'm doing a path that I'm not supposed to be doing, you know? So yeah, that's my thing about being like water. And I believe it's like Bruce Lee or something had said something as well about water, living your life like water. So I mean, he's one of like the greats apparently. So I mean, I would listen, you know. I don't know, live your life like water because it's just fantastic for you. Yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe, comment. I have a Patreon, so if you want more personalized help, I will be super excited to help you out. I do phone calls and video calls, so whatever you're more comfortable with, I'm down. And yeah, so enjoy your day. Much peace and love, and with that, I'll see you later.